What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 12 of the Miami Marlins Out of the Park Baseball 25 series. We're here. It's May 28th, 2027. Your Miami Marlins are 20-27 in last place in the NL South Division. 5.5 games out of first place. It's been a really bad start for the squad. A little World Series hangover potentially, but, I don't think things can get much worse than this. Let's put it that way. God, McAfee thing popping up. Hold on, get rid of that. Okay. So yeah, it hasn't been a pretty start. So let's go to the offense first because it's been pretty abysmal outside of a couple guys. Jesus Sanchez off to a really good start. I don't think he was that great in the first month. I don't know. He's been good all the way around. Maybe got off to a really slow start or something, but just makes his full screen. But yeah, he's been like our only piece of consistent offense this season. Him and Jacob Berry, who is playing most of the time. I do have him. I think he was sitting a little bit against lefties to start, but now he's back full-time playing. But yeah, he's been incredible as well. He had the same thing happen last season where he got off to a great start and then kind of faded as the second half approached. So we'll hope that doesn't happen here. But he's been great, 145 OPS plus. And then Jazz has also been good, following up a pretty disappointing season overall last year, although he obviously came alive at the end of the year and then in the playoffs. But he's off to a good start, has 10 homers already, on pace for a 34 home run season, on pace for almost 5 WAR. So good stuff out of Jazz. Trey Sweeney has been about as good as you could expect, about a league average hitter, playing some decent defense at third. He's been thrust into second a little bit this year. Just due to where things have kind of fallen. Did Rafaela get hurt? Someone got hurt along the way, and I put Rafaela maybe in left. She was at short. Okay, yeah, so Arteaga got hurt. That's what it was. So I threw Rafaela at short. He was fine over there for 18 games. He needed to come in for like 3 weeks, so yeah, he was fine over there. And then Trey Sweeney had to play some second. Then we had Luke Adams at third, I believe, during that stretch. Yeah, he's no good at third. So that was tough on the defense, but Sweeney's been fine. Rafaela's taken a step back this season, but still a good, versatile player overall. Hopefully he can turn things around and put in the season he had last year. Yiddy Cape got off to a nice start. He's still hitting 300, just not a ton of power or anything. Only one extra base hit and 50 plate appearances. But a good defender. Had to step in and play some shortstop, some second, some third as needed. So then Luke Adams, a really tough start for him. He has hit 5 home runs in 146 plate appearances. Not horrible. We'd like a little bit more, but he's only 23. We're going to keep him in there. And then Luis Robert has been a huge disappointment this season. A 76 WRC plus coming off an already disappointing last season. In Miami, at least his walk rate's up. The strikeout rate's up as well, though. We'll see about Robert. I'll leave it at that. Patrick Bailey's been fine, I guess. 80 WRC plus, I'll take that with his good defense. Chris Bryant's been a disappointment. He's kind of a backup at this point, but he has been playing a bit better. He had a 3-hit, 2-double game and a home run. Yeah, his last time out there. But yeah, he's been relegated to the bench for the most part, I believe. Yeah, he's not even playing at all. Move this cord. Although, he could probably play some left field here, I think. Yeah, that might benefit us a bit. Tommy Gaines has been bad. May as well jump to him. He's batting 109 in 62 plate appearances. Has 3 home runs. But those are like his only hits on the year. So, an abysmal BABIP. We'll see. He's out of options. Also a free agent at the end of the year. Has some big power, but a lot of K issues. And, that showed up last year as well. He wasn't really good last year or anything, but he can run into one once in a while. Alfonso's been our backup catcher. Hasn't had to play much. So not really much to talk about. Only 41 plate appearances. And then Arteaga got hurt. What was the injury? It was a separated shoulder. Missed 3 weeks. And hasn't done much with the bat at all. Pretty disappointing follow-up to like a legit all-star season last year, although he didn't make the all-star team or anything, but put up 5.2 WAR, got MVP votes. So that's the offense. Really, can't get much worse than this, I'd say. I think Sanchez and Barry are probably overperforming, but then you got guys like Rafaela, Robert. I think Luke Adams has a little bit more in the tank. Arteaga's been really bad, so I don't think it gets much worse for those guys. We'll see. Then the pitching. I mean, man, it's been a really rough go for the pitching squad. Yuri Perez, I mean, kind of highlights that. He's 2-7 with a ERA well over 6. The FIP looks a lot better. He's given up a few too many home runs, walking a lot more guys. Again, I think this is about as bad as it gets for Yuri, but I also thought that before this previous start where he gave 7 runs in 4 2/3. The BABIP is ridiculously high. I don't know. We'll see. Jesus Luzardo, he went through a couple really nice stretches, and then he gets knocked around and bumps up his ERA. And the FIP looks okay, but yeah, it's been a disappointing start to the season for Luzardo as well. Braxton Garrett, another guy who's had a tough start, well below league average ERA-wise. His FIP is about league average. Again, a lot of this could be attributed to their bad defense. We've had to put guys into positions they probably shouldn't be playing. So I think for those three, this is probably the worst-case scenario. Hayden Birdsong's been okay, I guess. He was much better until this last start. He had an ERA under 4. The FIP still looks pretty good. I'm not worried about Birdsong at all. And then Tanner Houck has actually been our best pitcher thus far. 9 starts, a 3.66 ERA, FIP well below, well above league average, ERA plus about the same. So Tanner's given us a lot. The bullpen's been mostly good. Andrew Nardi hasn't been good. It's been a tough start for the season for him. Giving up a few too many home runs. I mean, actually a lot too many home runs, almost 2 per 9. Walking almost twice as many guys as he walked last year. The strikeouts haven't quite been there. So we definitely need Nardi to turn things around. Alex Lang's been good, though. Anthony Maldonado has also been solid. Anthony Bender's been okay, although not striking anyone out. And walking the same amount that he struck out. But I don't think he's given up any home runs. Yeah, no home runs allowed, which is an excellent thing. Kate Cavalli, signed him in the offseason to a cheap deal. Again, the home runs have been an issue. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. This feels like a repeat of the first season where guys just were getting killed by the home run ball. But he'll stay with the team for now. Max Bayer has been good. And Eric Fetty got off to a miserable start. His April stats were not pretty. So far in May, he's been much better. Hasn't had to make a start or anything yet, but yeah, the bullpen, it's been good. And then Jorge Mercedes, I shouldn't just skip over him. He's been called upon recently, and he's been really, really good. Hasn't walked anyone yet in 9 2/3 and striking out almost 16 guys per 9. The FIP at exactly 0. So he's been really good. Other guys who've been up, Mick Abel was sent down. Got off to a bad start. I mean, his strikeouts were at 4. He's walking 9.4 guys per 9. Only 6.2 innings, but sent him down to AAA. We'll see if he can bounce back down there. Wes Clark, who made the opening day roster, just once again could not hit when I called him up. He's looking like a quad A guy at this point. Again, he's crushing AAA, but just once he gets to the majors, can't do anything. Bretton Doyle hasn't made an appearance, but he's been really good in AAA. Dax Fulton was up for a couple innings. Colton Gordon hasn't made an appearance yet. Pearson Ole has not either. Marco Rea, I thought I called him up, but I guess not. And Sixto Sanchez is on another rehab. He got hurt. He's wrecked now. He might just be a non-tender guy at the end of the year. Besides that, I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else to report. So, we're coming off losing 2 out of 3 against San Antonio. Big series against Philly, who are always a tough opponent. So, and then, I guess good news, Luis Herrera is actually hitting in A-ball. His 3rd season down there. Just has done nothing the last 2 years. He's been okay so far this year. I mean, he's been quite good. We'll see if the strikeout rate and this walk rate can play, but Luis Rosado hasn't played yet. Let's see. Jason DeCaro is down in high A to start the year. His FIP is fantastic, 81, but the ERA plus not good. Sierra is 2.15. So good things from DeCaro so far. Manuel Rodriguez was played in AAA. He was hitting well, but he got hurt. Ethan Wheeler hasn't made an appearance yet. Luis Cova holding his own in A-ball, his third season there. We called up Brad Sonnerborn to A-ball after a good season in rookie ball. Probably shouldn't have rushed him. We'll see how he plays there. And then Fabian Lopez has played well in high A. Could get a promotion pretty soon, maybe in the next month or so. I don't think I did any call-ups yet, so I'm going to do that off camera. Matt Ager in AA has pitched well. He's a former third-round pick. Drew Lafferty looks like he's been pretty good in high A. Dominic Fritton in AA has been awesome. So there's some good things coming, I think. Cody Schreier's been killing it in AA as well. Then Devin Taylor, I guess we can talk about him. He's been pretty miserable in his second go-around in AA to finish his season there. Hopefully he can turn things around. Valor hasn't been great. So there's kind of the update after 2 months into the season. I'll jump out and sim ahead a bit, and we'll be back whenever something happens. All right, so we're here July 2nd. Marlins are 41-38. Half a game behind first place in the NL South, just behind the Rockies. Somehow we've been able to keep the ship afloat through all of our first half struggles. We are now down to 15th in starters ERA, which is just, an incredible turnaround from where we were last year. 7th in runs against, 11th in runs scored. Our offense has improved a ton, and we've needed every bit of it because, man, this pitching staff cannot figure things out. Luzardo's been a lot better, but still hasn't been his ace self. Yuri Perez, he recovered this last start, but, man, he completely nosedived. His ERA hit 7. It's been really bad. The FIP indicates he's probably, having some bad luck. The BABIP is still pretty high relative to his career average, but not anything crazy. I don't know. That's been tough. Braxton Garrett's been uncharacteristically, really bad. Again, the BABIP's high. The FIP looks good. The results have just not been there, though. ERA of 5.5. Hayden Birdsong's been, pretty solid the whole way, below league average FIP. But, the results still haven't been amazing. And then Tanner Houck continues to pitch well. He's been our best pitcher by pretty much a country mile this entire season. It's been tough for the rotation. That's really, really held us back this season. And I didn't think that would be an issue. Considering how we pitched. We did lose Trevor Rogers, who I'm curious how he's doing. Is it Rogers like that? Yes. He's in the Red Sox, not pitching well. So, same story with our guys. Just bad results. The peripherals don't necessarily look horrible, but Alex Lang has been, mostly fine. The Ks have really fallen off this season, surprisingly. The walks are still high. The FIP isn't pretty, but he's been pitching all right. Anthony Maldonado's been awesome. Max Mayer, same story with him. He's been great. We called up Edward Cabrera. He was crushing it in AAA. If you remember way back in the day, we wound up trading him to the Giants for Artaiga, Casey Schmidt, Elliot Ramos, Grant McCray. Way back when. This guy Mark Cawley has turned into a hell of a player. Would love to have him here. What was he when we traded him? Yeah, he's definitely improved a lot. He's 26, though. They're not playing him for some reason. That's interesting. We also traded them Jake Berger. Still with the team. Having a good season, but, underwhelming besides that. But that's not the point. Edward Cabrera, we signed him to a minor league deal this offseason. Called him up because he was pitching so well. He's been really good in 11 innings. Anthony Bender, definitely not the season he wanted out of him. I feel like he was pretty good the last check-in we had, but Hasn't been great. I mean, he's a free agent after this season. Could be a guy we look to move on from and try to upgrade. Cade Cavalli, honestly, has pitched pretty damn well. The numbers don't look great, but he's had a lot of like big performances for us. Especially in a lot of these like blowout, or not blowout, but like high scoring games that we've been in. I mean, shockingly, he's been the guy who's had to come in and kind of put out some fires and get us through some later innings when our pitching staff hasn't done anything. Colton Gordon up with the team, pitched well so far, and then Pearson Ole also with the team and done okay in a few appearances. And hitting wise, it's actually been pretty good. We did call up Ernesto Miramontes. He set down Alfonso. He wasn't necessarily bad. I mean, he wasn't playing well, but he's not a guy that I necessarily wanted to get rid of. But Miramontes brings some really good defense. Was hitting really, really well in AAA this season. Just to give us a different look at backup catcher, maybe some defense first. Defense first approach. And he had a home run in his first game, so that's good. Jesus Sanchez continues to just, light the world on fire. He's a free agent after the season, unfortunately. And he's asking for big, big money, so we'll probably get a qualifying offer for him, but man, we'll take the results as they come this season. His walk rates come up a lot, his strikeout rate's way down. I don't know if this is sustainable, but he's kind of thrown the team on his back this first half. 3.2 WAR, most definitely going to be our all-star representative if he's the only one. Jacob Berry continues to play really, really good baseball at first base, DH, kind of split in time. Played a lot of first base. But has DH quite a bit. Jazz continues to be awesome. On pace for 4.5 WAR, 118 WRC plus. The walk rate's really, really good. The strikeout rate's down. Playing a good right field as usual. He's been awesome. Luis Robert's bounced back after a really tough start. He's up to 16 home runs, and his walk rate is not like 5. It's above 5%, which is also really good. On pace for 4.3 WAR. Hope he can keep it going and keep improving. Luke Adams, who got off to a tough start, we kept him in there to try to fight through his rough patch, and he's rewarded us. Above league average hitter, on pace for 25 home runs. He's been really good. Chris Bryant, he's kind of a replacement level player on the surface, but has given us a little bit of juice in the lineup when we needed it. Almost league average with the bat, walking a bit, striking out, not a ton. He's been a lot better since he started. And then Patrick Bailey, kind of going off recently. He's got a couple 3-hit games in here. He had a 4-hit game here, a 3-hit game here, and overall it's just been really solid. Average up to 248 on the year, on pace for 3 WAR. His catcher ERA isn't great, but I think that has more to do with the pitching staff because that hasn't been an issue in past years. Tommy Gaines, kind of a home run or bust hitter, but a good guy to have on the squad. He's cut the strikeout rate down pretty significantly. The walk rate's up as well from last season and from where he started. So, not a bad season from Tommy. He's also barely playing, I guess. I think he's mixing in, right? He's not. He's gonna mix in here to get a little more against lefties. Yiddy Cape, who's had to step in at third base here with, kind of no other options against lefties with Trey Sweeney struggling. We'll get to him in a second. He's actually been pretty good, holding his own. Decent defender in the infield. Overall, a decent utility guy to have. And then Cedane Rafaela, it's just been a fall from grace from last season's, all-star caliber first half, and then fell apart in the second half, but still had a good season overall. This year has just not been as good. Maybe regressing to the mean a bit, but I think he's still a good player, still brings some versatility. But so far, not a great start with the bat. Trey Sweeney's fallen off since a decent start. He's been pretty miserable on the last couple months. Want to look at his June stats, a 22 WRC plus. Hasn't been good for him, but we don't have any other options at third at the moment. And then Arteaga has just not been able to hit at all this season. Again, after a really good year last year. Disappointing. I don't think the glove's been nearly as good either. It's been it's been good actually. But yeah, disappointing season from Arteaga. And then it's July 2nd, so the deadline's coming up. Obviously, we have some massive holes in the rotation. But I mean, am I really going to take Yuri, Luzardo, or Garrett out? Mostly Garrett or Perez. Maybe Birdsong gets replaced, but even he's been fine mostly. Kind of just have to hope for some improvements. The bats could definitely use some work, but it hasn't been as big of an issue as in past years. Really, it's just this rotation, man. It's been bad. You gotta hope Yuri bounces back because he's kind of the focal point. If he gets his ERA under, I'll pray for an ERA under 5 on the season at this point. Give us a good second half, and all the struggles in the first half will be forgotten. But he's just been so bad, like unpitchable bad. Like I've been thinking about demoting him to the bullpen bad, and that was like inconceivable coming into the year. Luis Herrera continues to hit in A ball though, so we'll see if he gets a call to high A. He's still angry. Team record mostly. He's not happy with his performance role in the team. Maybe we'll just give him a call up soon. A to high A isn't a huge jump. I think he played in the All-Star game. Look at that. Cool. Okay, so we're going to keep moving ahead. We'll come back, around the deadline, see if there's any moves to make. I'm sure this bullpen, we could use one more arm, maybe 2. Rotation, we'll see what's out there as we approach the deadline. So we'll be back. Okay, so we're here at draft day, but we have a pretty massive trade to announce. So Adley Rutschman was on the trade block. He's making $39 million this season, which is crazy. But he's on the last year of his deal, hit free agency this offseason. And the Orioles are looking to move on from him. He's had a pretty miserable season at the plate, at 74 WRC+. However, his BABIP is well below his career average. Coming off like 6-win season, so MVP caliber player when he's on. And we're hoping for a bounce back here. And the return isn't anything crazy, as it shouldn't be for, maybe he demands a little bit more on the open market. But, they're still getting some players back. So Devin Taylor's kind of the prize, in my opinion, in this trade. Former 4th overall pick in 2025. Just really hasn't been able to get it going in Double-A. After a promising enough season last year, he's kind of worked his way out of my future plans. We'll also give them Jake DeLeo, a 26-year-old, having a good season in high A. Justin Storm, who's kind of, minor league relief depth. And then Anthony Bender, who's been a long time Miami Marlin at this point, but it just has not had a good season. Wasn't particularly great last year either. And then we're also throwing in Chris Bryant, which kind of sucks. He just had a huge home run in the last game that he played, but he's kind of just a bench player at this point. We already got credit for acquiring an MVP. He is extremely popular, so that's going to suck, but I'm sure Adley is too. And then Grant Hussey, who is a former 19th round pick, but has some big power upside. He's 24, so maybe he never reaches that, but not a huge price to acquire Adley. We are eating the rest of his, what is that? Let's see, it's 17.6. We're about halfway through the year. So we're eating like $8 million on this deal. Which isn't anything crazy. So where does this leave Patrick Bailey, you may ask? It doesn't really change anything for him. He'll still be our catcher just because his defense is so good, but this gives us the ability to play Adley at either first, DH, and be our backup catcher as well. So hopefully that all kind of plays out as I want it to. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but Adley will be our backup catcher and, everyday first base DH. So yeah, we're gonna pull the trigger on this trade. Adley hasn't had a great year, but we'll see how this goes. Kind of how it is. So, all right, we do have an open bullpen spot now. We have an open 40-man spot as well. Mickey Abel hasn't really been anything great, but I think I'm gonna give him a shot. Didn't really get a true opportunity earlier this season. So we'll roll him out there again. And honestly, this bullpen looks pretty good at this point. But, yeah, the rotation maybe still needs one more arm. But, I mean, picking up Adley and being able to throw him kind of wherever in this lineup is huge. Probably pushes Luke Adams to the bench for now. We'll DH. Does Rushman have, like, good infield? We'll DH him for now. That also gives us the ability to send down Miramontes, who's been fine, but... and then what do I want to do with this roster spot? I mean, this gives us a lot of flexibility. Having the two catchers that can both kind of hit. I'm going to play Rushman every 5th game at catcher. I hope this kind of plays out how I want it to, again. But, let's see. We kind of can do whatever we want with the spot. So, I mean, do we give Wes Clark another run, one last chance? We have Michael Conforto on here, but I think it's going to be Lars Nootbaar. He's absolutely killed it in AAA. I think he deserves a shot. Jose Miranda's another guy who's played well in AAA, but let's give it to Nootbaar. Let's see what he can do. We don't necessarily need him or anything, but he's a good player to have. And he can DH when Rushman's catching. We'll do every 4th like that. And then, Rushman, you can throw it right in the 5-hole. I think that works perfectly. Do something similar against lefties. How do we want to play this here? Don't really want to play Luke Adams at 3rd. I think we're going to have to. And we'll put Rushman at 1st. We'll put Rushman at 1st anyway here, just so we have the backup catcher if we need it. And then do that. And then we'll throw Tommy Gaines out in the left, I suppose, with Jesus Sanchez as the backup in the corner. So I like how this looks. It's not too bad. Definitely much improved over what we were rocking with in the first half with throwing Rushman in there. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out with the catching thing, but kind of a no-brainer for that price. Luis Ariz has really struggled. I wonder if we could pick him up on the cheap. He's definitely not a second baseman at this point. So maybe that's not even a necessity. Bryson Stott, how's he been doing? He got signed to a very, very small deal. He's a guy I'd be interested in if the price was right. Yeah, this won't take a ton. Emmett Olson's a guy I like. He's pitched well. Matt Ager, probably not a guy I want to trade at this point. Still like him, even if he's kind of struggled in AAA since being promoted. Rodney Green's been surprising in AA. He's been about a league average hitter. The strikeouts are still a huge issue. So not necessarily ready to give up on him yet. Maybe Pearson Ola is just, he's kind of starter depth for us. We have a lot of these guys. He's on the 40. So it kind of makes sense to do Pearson Ola. He's got tons of team control. For Bryson Stott, a half a season of him. That also gives us Trey Sweeney insurance if he continues to suck. That would push Cape to the minors most likely, which isn't ideal. But I mean, he'll still be in the organization. I do really like Bryson Stott. Let's wait on that. Let's go to the draft. We sim one more day. We win 8-3. We are 45-43, by the way. Rafael, a 4-hit game, a couple of multi-hit games. Rushman, 2 hits in his first game with the team. Patrick Bailey has 2 hits, 3 RBIs, keeping his catcher job. Marco Rhea pitched for the first time as a Miami Marlin. Didn't do much, but anyway, let's jump into the draft. We have the 25th pick this season, so let's jump into it. Let's go to all players, and pretty good player there. Their college guy, Glenn Cochran. Let's see what Houston does with this first pick. They take Glenn Cochran. Not a bad pick at all. And Kevin Lawson, high school arm, goes number 2. Kevin Bowden, the college arm, goes number 3. Interesting personality, but a 3-pitch guy with a splitter, fastball, changeup, kind of a vertically driven pitcher. We'll see how that works out. Let's go to our pick. And looks like there's plenty available here in terms of potential guys. Ian Anderson, not the current pitcher. Kevin Gilbert looks okay. Josh Mason's a 3-pitch guy. Fastball, changeup, sinker. This is the build that I stay really far away from. Josh Mason, same thing. Let's go see a 6-pitch guy here. Talika. Stamina is an issue, but overall, I mean, he's a good arm. These high school guys have kind of burned me, though, so far this save. Jonathan Wilson looks like a stud catcher. Really arm-based, but the defense isn't bad. I mean, he's already 20 and well-developed. Definitely like Jonathan Wilson. Rob Clonch. Yeah, I know. I'm all set with the high strikeout guys. This guy's pretty good. Good upside. Definitely some good options. I'm going to jump off camera, sift through what's available. This guy's interesting, even though he has the K issues. But yeah, we'll come back with our final pick. Okay, so I think we picked our guy, but I should go over the draft order. We do have the 2 comp picks in just 10 picks or so. I guess that's like 14 picks, but we do have picks coming up. We have 4 in the supplemental round and also 7. That was from, let's see, Cease and Trevor Rogers. I think we're going to go with the catcher, though. Jonathan the Entertainer Wilson. I like his floor, and the bat has really good upside. And Patrick Bailey won't be with us forever, so he's kind of the heir apparent. The other guy that about as close as it gets, Eric Spiegel. I hope he falls to the supplemental round, but man, this is the exact kind of pitcher that I like. But we did take a similar guy last year in Jason DeCaro. Was that last year or 2 years ago? That was last year. Very similar pitcher. This guy may be a little bit better, but yeah, we're gonna go with the catcher. Gives us an out if Bailey ever sucks or anything. So we're going to take, and he also has a really low demand, so we can definitely go over slot next pick. And God, I forgot to change the budget thing. Hold on. I'll do that after. Yeah, let's take him. See if Spiegel goes. Wouldn't shock me if he fell. One more pick, and he does. Actually, New York has to go. Okay. We wind up surviving. Spiegel's still here. So we're going to take Eric Spiegel. Draft him, and I'll fix I'm going to have to go in commissioner mode and fix the budget thing. I forgot about that. There's never been an issue in past games, which is why I did that. And, okay. I guess I drafted to our next pick. So we have one more. This one I'm willing to take more of a risk. Kevin Gilbert's interesting. Yeah, I was looking at Talecha. Even in the first round with that first pick that we had. Not really keen on these high school guys at this point. Saintville looks really interesting. He's only 17, though. Ton of bust potential, but the bat looks excellent if he was to reach that. The Sources also looks good. Dan Martins looks like a good player. He's kind of a corner guy only, though. Only Robinson could double dip at catcher. Not the defensive player that Robinson was, though, in the first round. Kind of just sifting through some guys. I like this Tom Driscoll. Good speed, pretty good bat. The defense isn't quite there. He projects as a center fielder with the bat, but I don't know if he could play a corner with that. There's definitely some good players here. Guy's interesting. He's only 17, though. Okay, let me jump off, go through another pick, and we'll come back with our final decision. Okay, so we're going to go with Tyrese Saintville. He's just about its slot value, so this isn't really an overpay or anything. And I think this bat can definitely play in a corner if he was to develop like this. Could also send him to the lab, try to improve his defense. Not necessarily the hardest thing to do in this game. And decently developed for a 17-year-old. And we'll draft him, see what happens. And we do have another pick coming up. So, I like Ian Anderson, but the velocity concerns me. I don't know. That seems like a guy who's just going to fall off immediately after I draft him. I really like Taleka. This Kevin Bates guy is also interesting. I feel like we've gone pretty heavy on the infield, though. We can kind of just shoot for the stars with a massive power, potential center fielder. But the contact is so concerning with the Ks and everything, and he's 21 already. I don't know, this feels like a good upside play, though, honestly. With the eye, I think he can actually, even if he gets 220 with that power and that gap, I mean, he could be a superstar. And, if we were to improve the avoid Ks just a bit. Yeah, you know what? Let's throw a dart here at the tools and Samuel DeSources. All right, we'll go through and do the rest of the draft off camera. We did have a lot of picks at the beginning. I just gotta take my time with this and go through. So we'll be back with the results in just a sec. Alrighty, so we are back. Really good draft. We took Jonathan Wilson in the first round. Talked about him. Eric Spiegel in the second, or I guess our second pick, supplemental first pick, and then our supplemental second pick. We took Tyrese Saintville. A couple high upside guys. We took Samuel DeSources. Huge upside with the power and gap power and eye, but definitely need some contact work. We'll send him to the lab this offseason. Mike Stahl, we double dipped at catcher, although I see him as more of a DH or first baseman. I can definitely play some first base. The bat can definitely play at DH as well if he develops into that. Something to say about the double dip strategy. So, NFL teams do this a lot, where they take maybe they have a whole long-term hole at tight end or something. They'll take two guys, maybe one in the second round, one in the third round. Odds are one of them is going to work out. You give yourself a 50% chance of one of them working. You saw this with Mark Andrews and Hayden Hurst way back in the day. Mark Andrews wound up being the better. I think it was Hayden Hurst. Mark Andrews wound up being the better one. They do this a lot with edge rushers and stuff. You figure one of these mid-round guys is going to be a player for you. The other one might suck, but at least you got something out of the draft. That's what we did at catcher here. I think Jonathan Wilson will work out, but if he doesn't, we have Mike Stahl here, who could very well work out in his place. So, that's kind of the strategy with the double dip, taking a guy in the first and the third round at the same position. We took Ben Giovannetti, hell of an Italian name, but also a really good player. 21 years old, a really good floor. I think he can play an A-ball immediately. We'll see where he goes. Vince Kraft, really good upside, probably second baseman long term. But has some really good ratings. He's still young, but a decent floor for such a young guy. Steve Hammond, a similar player, but much more rangy. Definitely a second baseman long term, and 21 and well developed. So we'll actually send him straight to A. I did have to adjust that stuff in commissioner mode. I'll remember not to do that again, but it's just a pain in the ass. It's never been a thing in this game. And then there was a lot of value at reliever. Well, it's the 4th of July. Here come the fireworks at 5 o'clock in the evening. But yeah, hopefully that's not too bothering in this video. But there's a lot of value at reliever. So we took a guy here, Dan Peacher, in the 7th round. He was the best reliever available. He doesn't have the stamina to start or anything, but he's got some really good ratings. He's only 19 with a really good floor. We took TJ Remick, another reliever here in the 8th round. Jack DTN. Yeah, if you take away that, it's Travis Etienne's name. So DTN, I'm going to go with. He has a low work ethic but high intelligence. Hopefully those negate each other. It could be a starter long term. We'll see. We took AJ Dial in the 10th. Greg Palmer in the 11th round. A guy with a couple good pitches. The home runs are an issue, but he's only 19. We took Islay Egan in the 12th round, another young pitcher. Ben Edelman, a young center fielder / just outfielder. In the 13th round, Brexton Hoskins in the 14th round, another reliever. High work ethic, young guy with a good floor. Truman Valancourt we took here in the 15th round. Decent floor as a reliever. Danny Evanson, another reliever here in the 16th round. Jonathan Sia, yet another reliever. Dan Rogan, a guy with some tools with his contact and his avoid Ks. No power or eye to speak of, but a flyer here in the 18th round, and then Joey McCleany and Joe Nelson in the last 2 rounds. So a lot of young relievers in this draft. Obviously, not obviously, but I don't like doing that typically. I'm going to promote Luis Herrera, by the way. I was waiting on this, but let's do it now. I don't typically go for relievers or anything in these drafts, but the value was too good, and there wasn't a ton else position-wise that I liked, so we did that, and we'll see where these guys go in the long term. And the Florida League should be starting up very shortly. I'll do all this off camera, but I do want to promote some guys. Yeah, we'll do this after. Danny Evanson. Okay, we'll be back with any other update news. I guess we can go to the All-Star game here, see who was picked. We have another game against Atlanta before the break, and we lose 6-3. Hayden Birdsong, not a good start. Marco Arroyo gets roughed up as well. Okay, so let's clear up. Actually, we can just keep Ray on the team since we have the All-Star break. But let's check the All-Stars. We're now 45-44, last place in the division, by the way. There's the AL All-Stars. Looks like Garrett Crochet makes it in 61 innings. He's been fantastic when he's been out there. In the NL, Spencer Strider has been incredible in 38 innings, but he tore his rotator cuff. That's tough. So it looks like we don't have any pitchers. Not too surprising with how our staff's been this year. Catcher-wise, no one. Man, Jesus Sanchez makes it. His first All-Star appearance in his career. Going to be looking for the bag this offseason. So I think he might have been our only representative for what I can see. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but not surprising after a tough start to the year. So we'll keep something ahead. Come back when there's something to update on. Okay, so this is my attempt to try to replace the struggling Trey Sweeney. So we have a deal here. Luis Garcia, and all of his deal will be retained by the San Antonio Lobos. In return, we'll be sending Lars Nootbaar, who's a good player. He played well in AAA, only had 11 at-bats for us so far. But him and Ike Buxton, who's pitched well in AA this season, for Luis Garcia. Kind of a nothing trade. But, Luis has some pretty good ratings. Hasn't really, for having the 70 contact and also avoid K and all of these, really solid ratings, hasn't done really anything offensively. He's been about a league average hitter, which is not nothing, especially for a team like us. But, yeah, we're going to add him to the active roster. And Trey Sweeney, who's just been abysmal outside of his last game, actually. But he's going to lose his starting spot here. And Luis Garcia will slide in at third. Not ideal for third base necessarily, but he can't be worse than Trey Sweeney's been this year. So he's just a rental, but we'll see. We'll still start Luke Adams. I think Garcia will mix in a little bit against lefties. Definitely better against righties, but good against both. We'll do every other game. Although Adams is so bad at third, so maybe it's just worth starting Garcia there as well. So, this lineup's probably about as good as it's going to get. Maybe we can replace Tommy Gaines, but I still like that he can run into a home run once in a while. But is it really that valuable? I don't know. Maybe if he has some value. He's a free agent after the season. Let's see. Yeah, they'll give us something. This guy's not bad. Backup catcher. Some catcher depth. Yeah, but I think Atlanta, although I don't really want to trade within the NL, probably have the best offers. It's not really even close. This Jack Finlay guy is not bad. Former 5th-round pick. Let's just flip Tommy Gaines here. Kind of done with him. Yeah, let's just do it. So, as a result, we have an open roster spot. I think I want to give Shane Sasaki a shot. He's been down in the minors on our 40-man for years. Just has either been hurt or whatever whenever we go to call him up. He could definitely back up center field as well, which is nice. And we'll do something like this. Luke Adams can back up first. Then against lefties, we could actually maybe start Sasaki. Don't hate that. Can Garcia play left? He can. Luke Adams, probably not much of a left fielder, yeah. Jacob Berry, not much better, I'm sure. So let's actually start Sasaki against lefties. See how he does. And we'll roll with that. So finish up the set against Pittsburgh. Luzardo was really good his last start. We lose 10-11. Wow. 1 second. I probably got to stop this here. Okay. I do not have to leave just yet. But tough game. Really tough game. Max Mayer quietly has been horrible. Not quietly, but he gave 5 runs in this outing, give 3 unearned, and then give 5 more earned runs. So really bad stretch for him. He's got to turn it around. We need him. Luzardo actually wasn't bad in that start. He's had a couple of good ones in a row. And at least he's landed on his feet okay. The same can't be said for most of the other guys here. So, although Garrett's been better too. And Jazz is hurt. He's been like our one offensive guy all year. It's so unfortunate. Man, I don't even. I think Emmanuel Rodriguez will probably get the call. He's been good in AAA. He deserves a shot. So let's call him up. He actually might bat leadoff because of his eye. Let's do that, and then it's gonna be rough. I think we're actually gonna put Luke Adams out and right. Oh God, that hurts. That hurts to do, but you know what? Let's put him in left and put Sasaki in right. But Adams can actually lead off. That's fine. He walks 11% of the time. Adley's been pretty good since coming over as well. So, okay. Man, Luis Herrera does not deal with promotions very well. Hopefully it doesn't take him 2 years in high A. Although Rosado has played well in rookie ball. I sent him... Oh, no, he's still in the Dominican League. Let's send him to Coast League. Same with Sedena. He's back. He was hurt for a little bit. Just a minor injury. But, yeah, we lose 7-0. God, this is just brutal. Braxton Garrett, a rough start. The bullpen does a good job. We're going to have to call up someone for reinforcements here. Marco Raya hasn't been great. This has just been kind of a disaster season. I don't know if there's any coming back from this. I thought it couldn't get any worse for a lot of these guys, but it just hasn't come back the way we wanted. We're 47-50 at this point as we approach the deadline. I don't think I want to dump any more into this team at this point. Maybe we're a playoff team, but at this point it looks more likely than not we're not going to be. Luke Adams, a couple hits in the leadoff spot. That's good. Arteaga had a couple of hits as well. Maybe last season was the anomaly. Oh my God. I think it's time. I can't keep sending him out there. I mean, he's just getting destroyed for some reason. I'm not even completely sure. Just bizarre. Tobias Myers can't be any worse, right? This friggin' sucks to do, but I can't keep sacrificing him every start. I mean, we won the game, but it wasn't because of him, not even close. So Yuri officially demoted to the bullpen. We'll go with Tobias Myers for the moment. At least we were getting something out of Tanner Houck. I mean, he's been huge for us this season. This guy's been pretty good. Christian Lim's kind of a good player, though. I like him. We win 8-2. Rushman has a couple more hits. He's been lighting it up. Patrick Bailey, he's been awesome since we traded for Rushman. Who's this? Luis Garcia hasn't done much since we traded for him. Tanner Houck, 5 2/3, 2 runs. Edward Cabrera, he continues to be lights out since we picked up his contract from the minors. He still has another year of arbitration control too, which is definitely good. Okay, I'm going to jump off. Let's just go to the deadline. Why not? We'll end the episode there. 7-4 loss. Man, it's been ugly. Luzardo gets roughed up in this one. His ERA is right back to where it was before the 2 good starts. So unfortunate, man. Yuri Perez, good in relief, but what does that mean at this point? 6-1 loss, and the wheels have just come off. I mean, this is an intriguing trade, but I like Dominic Fritton. I mean, what's Tyler Glass now going to do for us now? I mean, I think we're just going to roll into the second half. I mean, they're throwing in all this money. And Tyler Baird's an okay prospect. This feels a little cheesy to do. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do this. This doesn't feel right. He still has another year, a team option for 30. Yeah, that feels a little cheesy to pull off. I think we're just going to roll with this. If we suck, we suck. If we're good, great. Definitely looking like the former of those, but yeah, what a miserable season. This has just been horrible. Hayden Birdsong, friggin' sucking again. So, I mean, we're in risk of missing the playoffs here. We're going to end the episode here. I mean, we're only 4.5 games out of the division. There's still a shot we can make it. But the wheels have completely come off after last season, and it's not looking good. So, we'll end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time for maybe playoffs, or it could just be the off season. I assume it'll be like a September episode, though, like last time. So, we'll see where we wind up. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you then. Bye.